Okay, we're going to call the Educator Effectiveness Committee to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Dr. Bophy? Dr. Bophy is not present. Mr. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Davis is present. Ms. Edmiston? Ms. Edmiston is not present. Mr. Garvey?
Here.
Mr. Garvey is present. Ms. Holloway?
Here.
Ms. Holloway is present. Dr. Jones?
Here.
Dr. Jones is present. Ms. Lewis? Ms. Lewis is present. Ms. Orange Jones? Ms. Orange Jones is not present. Mr. Rock? Mr. Rock is present. Dr. Thomason?
Present.
Dr. Thomason is present. Ms. Vautier?
Here.
Ms. Vautier is present. And Ms. Smith?
Here.
Ms. Smith is present. You have a quorum.
Thank you. We're doing a housekeeping. We have sinking chairs up here. If we disappear out of sight, it's because the chair mechanism has failed us. All right, may we have the first item, please?
Your consent agenda is ready for approval, noting that item 3.1 will be deleted from the agenda and adding items 3.2 and 3.3.
May I get a motion to that effect, please? Ms. Vautier makes the motion, and Dr. Thomason makes the second.
Your first item is on page 53, item 4.1, consideration of a records review regarding the issuance of a Louisiana teaching certificate appropriate to the credentials of Miss Brianna Arrington Calhoun. We will need a recommendation to grant, deny, or defer.
Is there anyone who will offer that motion, please? Thanks, Doris. I wonder how I'm going to get a second now.
Second.
Dr. Thomason again, seconds. I think we're off to a slow start this morning. All right. Board members, you have your information in front of you concerning this case. Do any of you have a question you'd like to address to the lady? All right. In that case, would you like to give a statement to the board that you'd like us to consider?
Yes, sir, I would. First of all, thank y'all, everyone, for holding this records review and for taking me into consideration. I do want to say that this is probably one of the most important moments of my life. I feel like this is a culmination of everything I've been working towards for the past 6 years. One thing I want to say about education is it is literally the only earthly thing that saved me and turned things around for me. And I know had it not been for my already having an education and that being instilled in me, I would not be in the situation that I am. I would not have been given the chances that I've been given. And I know how important it is. I'm living proof of how important education is, and I want to instill that in my students. More than that, the thing about teaching in me is that I not only hope to improve the lives of my students, they improve my life every day, and they keep me better and keep me humble and keep me wanting to do the right thing. And so I would very much appreciate the approval of this certification, and I thank you for your time.
Ms. Vautier, may I clarify, your motion was to grant? Okay. Do we have any opposition? I'm sorry.
Clarify the motion again, I didn't hear you.
The motion is to grant. Do we have any opposition to the motion? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Okay, your next item is on page 83, item 4.2, consideration of a records review regarding the issuance of a Louisiana teaching certificate appropriate to the credentials of Mr. Jordan Anthony Sanchez. We need a recommendation to grant, deny, or defer.
Make a motion to grant.
Okay. Dr. Thomason made the motion, and Mr. Garvey was seconded. Is the gentleman present?
No, sir. Mr. Sanchez is not in attendance.
He's not in attendance?
He did correspond with me to say that he was going to be here. He's coming from New Orleans, so I'm not sure.
Mr. Garvey?
Yeah, I'd like to speak. This morning, it took me about a half hour to go to the last 4 miles, there's a wreck on the interstate right around college or right after college. And I would expect, I wouldn't be surprised if he is caught in that traffic. But I'd also like to add, I know that Dr. Rosalind Hale, Professor Emeritus at Xavier University, sent in a letter in support of Mr. Sanchez's, what would you call this, an appeal? And I got a phone call this morning from Judy Moranti, who some of you guys may remember was on this board just as most of the members here were coming on, and she exited. She called me this morning to say that she knows this man well and thinks extremely highly of him, and if she was still on the board, she would vote in favor of granting his appeal. And I know Judy well enough to know that her opinion is I regard it highly, so I'm going to vote based on her suggestions and her knowledge of this man's history.
All right. So, any other board members have a comment or a question? Is there any opposition to the motion? So moved. Motion is approved.
That concludes the agenda.
Well, I got that.